Setup was so quick today.
Yeah. And you know what wasn't quick? This fucking thing. This
TV
ate away my brain watching it.
Was hard.
Listen, that's fine because I could say the same about a few others that are on this list.
And that's what we're gonna do.
And
but yeah. All right. Starting fresh. We're back, guys. First episode of the new year. Thank you for returning. Thank you for the 147 people who viewed some
Last
of it,
episode.
if not, the last episode. Crazy YouTube algorithm doing its thing. Some mean comments or
not necessarily mean, but
uninformed. But yeah, we're here for it. You know, getting some traction, getting some motion.
We accept any kind of comment, whether positive, negative, neutral.
We didn't get any birthday wishes for Sai though.
It's okay. It's fine.
Well, I also didn't believe it was his birthday.
Who would have thought? One of my best friends didn't know it was my birthday.
Well, I thought you were kidding.
I really thought you were just playing dumb, and then he texted me.
The
following day, and he was like, "Wait, is it really Sai's birthday today?"
I was at Kura Sushi. I'm like,
yeah.
Is it really?
And is that why you called me when you were there? I was like, you were like, hey man, happy
well, he
birthday.
didn't reply, so I called. I'm just gonna get to the bottom of it.
I was asleep, and then I woke up and I was like, "Yeah, it is."
So I called him, just trying to probe, like,
and
him
I was
saying things.
confused because you're like, I'm at Kura Sushi. I'm like, you don't like sushi.
But yeah, it was Sai's birthday in December 9th.
No.
but yeah, we're back. You know, birthdays come. We finished some anime. Yeah, even though
a lot
squeezed it in a lot.
Painfully,
but we're here. The first week of the new year. Finished it up. I think the last episode of most of them just came out last week. So finished. New series are just now coming out. I think Solo Leveling just dropped yesterday, which is on the winter 2024 watch list.
There's a good amount on there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch all of them in the next 2 weeks.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we can.
All of them.
I guess we're all quitting our jobs, and John is paying us.
Look, just because you guys are getting married, you know, taking trips, get to work from home, I'm out here watching anime.
And your Tesla wallet charges.
Beside the point.
We need to find more time.
Yeah,
just true. Look, your lunchtime, you can watch 2 episodes. You're already going to be eating.
I did that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You just do that, and then
about 40 minutes of my lunch is taking care of puppies. So.
But we're here. We're here to, you know, we'll talk about this at the end, but we're here to talk about this fun time that it was.
2023.
Fall 2023, you know, and boy, was a lot of our selection not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah.
The show.
I mean, I think we definitely had a few on here that we did enjoy the first episode.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we enjoyed all of the first episodes for these.
Yeah. I think the first episodes on all the ones we picked were extremely high. But once like halfway through hit, a lot of them started to falter.
Not halfway through for me. Even the second episode, things started to go downhill.
I don't know. Once I hit like 4 on most of them, that's where my decision making came. I was like, yeah, this is not.
It's where you
this is not a great.
It's where you would feel it out, like what's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the community was right on a bunch, and you know,
I agree.
Looking at it, because I have the fall list sorted by score. You know what finished in the top 6 that we were supposed to watch?
Yeah, my goofy boss.
I would have watched it. John knows that.
I know.
Chris says he didn't want to watch it though.
Oh man. But we at least we got one of the top 10 in here, which was Shangri-La Frontier, which
I think we all liked that, didn't we?
That was good. That was good, but
the first episode.
It was a little, I guess it was a little because 3 of the series, Shangri-La Frontier, Deathmount Death Play, and Undead Unluck, all were just playing until 24 episodes.
No, Shangri-La stopped at 13.
No, it's still going. It's not gonna have a. It's not. So that's like the mid break of it, but they're not stopping. It's
Oh.
just continuing.
Part 1, part 2.
So
Yeah.
they just stopped at 13 and they're gonna start releasing more soon.
Well, it's just continuing.
It's like what Spy
Well,
Family
they
did.
they stopped at 13 and there hasn't been a new update for like 2 weeks.
No, it said that it's going straight to 24
Yeah, but why didn't they update?
They might
because
have
of the
a
new
small
year,
gap.
probably.
Yeah.
I know all the manga like took a break, and they came back on a Monday.
They're
I think we
right
should
back
hear
to
something. We'll
business.
probably hear something this week or next week.
Well, hopefully, because I wanted more.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, we're here to break it down. We did this once before, and I think we learned from a lot of mistakes.
That we don't do it in your room because it was
don't.
so hot in the summer and I wanted to melt.
It was hot, but you know what happened after that? It downpoured.
It was really bad. Danny saved us that
It downpoured, and we couldn't leave for like a good hour. But yeah, we're here, in our semi-new permanent location. I think
It's our new
Chris's living
studio.
room. It's been pretty nice, nice little setup. But yeah, we're here to go over this and our thoughts.
We'll probably put like a little screen grab because it might not be as clear. on the
Yeah, it's
camera.
definitely not going to be as
For
clear.
those-
This is really for us
for
to
those
see.
who are watching the podcast,
Right.
and
Yeah.
not listening to it, because podcasts are mostly auditory. But, before we jump into this bracket and go through the quarterfinals of this, should we just like all at the same time just say what our least favorite was?
I think we could do that. And I also think as we go through some of them, let's like what we did like, what we didn't like about them.
And I think we should keep, try and hit like 5 to 10 minutes on each one. Like
We could
no
try.
more than 10.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, that's doable.
Look, some of the ones that like I really didn't like, I'm not going to say much on.
We're only going to do one. The top least favorite.
But
Easy.
Yeah, mine's a.
I was debating maybe we should have ranked them based on the personal scores we gave them, but I think community is
Yeah.
more fair for this.
Exactly.
But yeah, we got these 8 finalists from the 29 we originally picked. All lined up.
Real quick, I just noticed what Under Ninja's paired against, and I
Yeah.
know it's not moving up.
Oh yeah, well that's how the seed system works. Number 1 seed against
Shit.
the worst seed, and then the second against the second worst, and then so on, so on, so on. But it was.
I thoroughly enjoyed it compared to what everything else we watched. It's the one that
was your number
stands
one?
out the most to me.
Yeah,
And
'Cause
it's
they're
more of a
swords.
breath of fresh air, and it's just different. It's not tropey,
Okay,
and
well,
it has an original
we'll
story.
talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
all right,
But
first,
I'm
first
sad.
things up to get it out of the way. On 3, just say out loud your least favorite one. during
Okay.
this whole thing. Okay, all right.
Who's doing the countdown?
I'll count it down.
Okay.
and it'll be. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we all say it. Okay.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. You have yours in mind.
I've had
Okay.
it forever.
You have yours in mind.
Yep.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Under
Returner's
Ninja.
magic should be special.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. Really, that one out of all of them, like aside knowing that Under Ninja is obviously one of your-
Yeah, that
more
one was
enjoyable
probably
ones.
one of the most boring for me.
Really?
And Dead Mount Deathplay was second boring.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Um,
Don't worry.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean,
Well, let's
run it
kick it
through.
off. So we've got our brackets up. I guess for those of you who are listening to this podcast, which thank you. Please listen to it. Maybe try and listen to it on Spotify so we hit those numbers and we can unlock advertising. To interrupt all of our beautiful voices and
Yeah.
us make money in the process. But
Hopefully.
we've got in the
first
seed.
matchup.
of the quarterfinals, we got Shangri-La Frontier against the 8th seed Kingdom of Ruin, and then after that we've got Under Ninja in the 7th seed versus Undead Unluck in the 2nd, and then we've got Migi and Dali in the 3rd seed versus Returner's Magic Should Be Special in the 6th, and then in the last mashup we've got in the 5th seed Ron
Komo no Hashi.
Komohashi's Forbidden Deductions against number 4 Death Mount Death Play
Dead Mount.
in the 4th seed. I think it's a pretty solid lineup.
I do agree. This is a good setup.
There's some things I saw about some of the creators that I was not aware of beforehand that kind of made watching these a little more enjoyable for me, because I started to piece some things together for some mangas that I really enjoy. I didn't realize make one of these, and I wonder which one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, which one?
Dead Mount Deathplay?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the creator of Dead Mount Deathplay also did Do Ra Ra Ra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that, but it's Komo
Komo Hashi.
I'm just gonna call it Forbidden
Think of
Deductions.
Komono
Hashi.
Hashi.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Ron Komono Hashi's Forbidden Deduction. The creator of that actually did one of my favorite series, which made a lot more sense in the pacing of the story, because I had an issue with how kind of slow I felt it was. We had like 7 episodes of just kind of the same thing over and over again before we got to the actual main storyline, which makes a lot of sense, because the creator of this has also done, I'll look up their name in a moment, but they did another series that I really like, which is Hitman Reborn. Really great, but it has the same kind of pacing where it's really slow, it's goofy, it's repetitive, it's a school kind of action one, and the first like 20 episodes are all like the same thing, but once you get past that, it's like a super like intense, strong story, which I feel like is where this one ends. That's going to be picked up quite easily.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, let's jump into this first bracket. Let's get it nice and zoomed up here. So let's remind everybody what we picked, what our ones were. Mine was Undead, Unluck, and what was the other one I picked?
The Kingdom of Ruin.
The Kingdom of Ruin. Those were my 2 top picks.
Kingdoms.
From the 29. Chris, you had?
Mine was Shangri-La Frontier and Under Ninja.
And Under Ninja and Psy.
I don't remember.
The Dead Mount Deathplay was your number 1, and I forget what your number 2 was.
And it was a Sorcerer's Magic Should Be Special. That was your second one, because you were like,
Returners.
oh yeah, I saw this one at Comic-Con.
That's what it was.
And then our 2 community picks for it. Let me go back.
Migi and Dali.
Was Migi and Dali.
And Ron Komonohashi.
Yeah, because it was between that and the racing one that we were.
Yeah, but we originally were gonna go with My Goofy Boss, and it was My Goofy Boss, and it was the racing one. And then we were like, no, which those ones, Goofy Boss finished in the top 6. And where did the racing one finish?
What was it called again?
I think
9.
It's
right here. That's
MF
12.
Ghost.
So in the top 15 it finished.
Yeah.
Finished right after Migi and Dali. So at a 7.62. Migi and Dali was 7.81.
Yeah.
All right. These scores are all courteous of My Anime List, Really good site and community to go out there. Not sponsored, not affiliated, but been giving us some good insights into this for all your anime needs. But yeah, Shangri-La Frontier versus the Kingdom of Ruin.
Do we want to say like what we liked about each one and then go into like the negatives real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess quick refresh if you haven't watched the whole thing. I'll just give a quick 30-second blurb about each one. You can go check out the previous episode, which will be quick linked somewhere here and in the description. But Shangri-La Frontier, pretty much imagine Sword Art Online, but without the dread of being stuck in a video game, and just more fun and enjoyable VR
animation.
VR MMO, way better animation.
Yeah.
With a somewhat interesting story going on with it. Adventure, a guy who only plays bad games decides to take a crack at playing good AAA games for once, and is really enjoying it, and unlocks some secret hidden stories that have not been played yet. And that's kind of where the story goes from there.
Yeah.
And then Kingdom of Ruin, which I had super high hopes for.
As did I.
Is pretty much World of Magic, and
just racism.
It's really like they just obliterating the witch kind, and they're just very prejudiced about it.
What originally I thought was going to be a great political action series such as Code Geass turned out to just be racism,
hate crimes left and right. Oh man, I was so upset.
Yeah,
but watching this one.
Once I got to like the 3rd episode, I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
I was severely disappointed. Yes, too, and it had great animation too. Like I really liked, but yeah, it was synopsis for it pretty much about witches and the rise of science in the world. Witches were meant to watch over humanity and help them grow throughout the world that God set forward, but only to have science in turn come in and pretty much convince people that witches were evil, and pretty much the rise of it leading to wiping them out. A young witch high in the coven, I guess, takes on a apprentice, a young human boy who has no ties and anything to magic, but they in turn soon met by the king, who kills her, captures him, and then he seeks revenge.
10 years later.
Yeah. But yeah, what do we want to do?
I want to.
It's pretty clear which we're gonna go with. But
yeah.
But I guess let's just
talk about the Kingdom of Ruin. What we don't like about it.
Yeah. It was
forced love story, or I feel like that's what they're trying to do.
It was too
forced, and
it wasn't forced in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So what I think like ruined it for me is you have Adonis, right? Who is hung on revenge, like doesn't care for anyone, and you have Doroka, the pink-haired girl, the witch, who like doesn't agree with him and kind of tries to change his mind about things and hates him for the most part. And then 2 episodes later, that switches.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
It absolutely infuriated me that dynamic just completely changed, and the rest of like their time together is them developing some relationship.
Yeah.
And Adonis gets soft or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It was literally they couldn't decide on what they wanted to do with the story, so they just said, we won't do anything. It went from being a revenge story to then halfway through them, I think 3/4 of the way through, pretty much showing, nothing you thought is going to happen.
Right.
We're going to set everything up that we've been doing for some random plot point that will become more apparent in season 2. And then every major character you're introduced to within 5 minutes, killed. Murdered.
Yeah.
Like the whole opening sequence has like them battling out against like all these people, and as each episode went on, it got shorter and shorter. All the new people you were introduced to, how much screen time they had before they were dead. Like those ninja girls that get introduced. I was like,
I thought they were gonna be badass.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. So we're now seeing the other countries and how they've been like dealing with magic and where they want to do. And then they have no chance after they took out a full squadron of people, and it's just like, what the fuck?
There was one scene early on in the show where this is before Adonis and Doroka are paired up and stuff. I think this is like right before Doroka and Adonis get transported to the moon.
Yeah.
But like Adonis is surrounded, people with guns on one side and the other side, and they're like, fire, and they just start shooting at him.
Yeah.
How are they not shooting each other? They're standing across. That like there's just little things in this show that continuity reasons like don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, he had a spell up that was absorbing all the bullets, and they fell.
Well, even the magic too. It started not to make sense, especially too, like style. Even his written summoning magic that he has. He summons that giant titan.
Why didn't he do it again?
Destroys the whole city. Literally is unstoppable.
Right.
And just murking everybody. And then at the end, when he's in the final bite with the hand guy who like turns out to be a cyborg and is like the main agent for
the queen.
Spoilers, the queen who turns out to be a witch.
A pop star, actually.
But
that
weird?
Turn took real, like, I get what they're doing. She has to
be loved.
Get loved.
But it was just so random.
But the same exact magic powers as
Doroka.
Yeah.
Which really broke me on like, all right, I don't understand what the magic is anymore. It's like, okay, I get everyone has a unique magic that because they bring up like, oh, who would ever want to get like stuck with your magic and everything? So it's clearly something you're born with, the type of magic.
Right. Claudia has the ice magic, and then like.
But then all of a sudden,
I mean, Chloe.
Chloe is it? Oh,
yeah,
is it Chloe?
Yeah, Chloe. But you don't. All of a sudden, the queen has the same type of magic.
Yeah. Well, they mentioned like someone's a reincarnate, and I'm pretty sure it's Doruka who's a reincarnated.
But how would she be a reincarnate of the queen who's still alive?
Yeah, it's confusing.
With that, and then which if we're going to talk about being reincarnated, I guess
Adonis.
Adonis is reincarnated.
Yeah, because they said he said he failed at capturing the reincarnation, which was because they showed a picture of Adonis, but with red hair.
Exactly, which is like, so Adonis is some magical person or something, which, I mean, just more confusion. But what really broke me on like, what are the rules for magic is when Dorica in like the last episode all of a sudden just starts rewriting the laws of physics, and it's like, these buffs are like literally changing. I say he can fly, so now he can fly.
Yeah.
And all these things are just like, what? I was
dumb.
like, how? I get you can control him, and maybe if you told him to use his magic to do those things.
Yeah, that's what I.
And then, then why couldn't she just like use that type of literally reality changing magic on the guy and just say, you're dead? And then.
Oh, he already had a love spell on him.
But she stopped him. She stopped him for a little bit, and then he like slowly broke free of it. But it was still just like, what?
It was all over the place.
Yeah. And then he didn't. The whole point when that fight started, I was like, just pull out the Titan again. Pull out the Titan.
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking. Pull out the Titan again,
and then it doesn't happen until the last 20 minutes of it. And he's like,
a very frustrating show.
Like you went from being so OP to be like, oh, now you can't do anything. Dude?
Yeah.
Like now you're getting just.
And then there was a point too where they're fighting, and he stops him from chanting the like magic, and he's like, oh, you got to be quicker on that. But then it's like he does a bunch of spells without having to like chant anything.
He just has to write it. He just has to write
which is like, do you not understand how your powers work? Like I don't. There's just so many inconsistencies that just. On top of there being no continuous plot, because everyone kept getting killed. Everyone who went up to all the witches die. Every source they bring in the back dead. The queen's dead, which I thought it was going to be so much more political and just like.
Nope, it's just them alone again.
Yeah, it just turned out to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah,
and that makes sense as to why I got the 8th spot.
Yeah, it was a real shame. But
yeah.
Any other thoughts on it? I know.
I mean, I'll say something a little bit positive. I liked some of the fight scenes. I mean, some of the actions were really cool, but also I will say on the same note, some of them definitely weren't. Yeah. And I was like, the giant thing, like, well, why wasn't he just using that? But like, I don't know. I think they put some effort in some fights, and then not as much.
Yeah, because some fights would just have stills and pan across.
Yeah, like them walking in the Western. Also, they just walked into like that Western city, and like that guy with his, I guess, dead wife, and like just sitting there, and I'm like, this
there were
just
so
awkward.
many plot points that like popped up where it was like, well, like when they started showing the other nations that like the like Asian nation, and then we saw this ruin of, I guess, which was supposed to be like a hyped up, sexualized Las Vegas.
Yes,
with all the
so robots.
Weird. Yeah, which it was like, they sold all the women and children. It's like, wait, what? I don't understand.
It's just weird plot points that don't fit into the main story.
Exactly,
and then it's just done with.
Yep,
like it's a waste of time.
It's like you had a great plot. You had the witches being alive, growing their masses, going to start an army in war, and you could have just had them. You could have had them not like bring back what's her name, the mentor, Chloe, yeah, not bring back Chloe. Use it as a bargaining chip to force Adonis to fight for you and like lead the army, all with like him trying to still bring her back and like getting around it, like they did in Code Geass, where it was just like after season 1, where they were pretty much holding him captive and being their leader to like do all those things and everything, while he slowly laid the lines for his own uprising and everything. But it started strong with the first episode. It had really cool fight scene animations, and then it just got lazy. It felt rushed. This is another thing. I feel like they rushed it a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why it kind of felt disjointed and plot points didn't make sense. So,
especially with the frames, the single frames.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there panning and talking.
Definitely not going to move up.
Yeah, clearly all three of us are in
against its competitors, Shangri-La Frontier, which it was consistent all throughout.
I really thought this was going to be a sleeper. I thought Rune of Kingdom was going to be a sleeper. It was going to be really cool, but it had
the first episode. First episode was insane. It was so good.
It was, and it's a real shame. But Shangri-La Frontier, I guess let's talk a little bit about it. And what was it like we enjoyed about it. I mean, there wasn't much I didn't like.
Yeah, there was nothing I didn't like about the show. Yeah. I couldn't find something negative about it, which is surprising. Yeah. And I don't necessarily enjoy a video game type world setting.
The rain one.
The only thing I
Protocol Rain.
Yeah. The only thing I that annoyed me, I wouldn't say I disliked, was because I know you said you started reading a little bit about it because you wanted to, like, you said, oh, there's some things I'm hoping like play out. Because you said you read it because you weren't sure where it was going to go when we first watched them.
I didn't read it.
You didn't?
No.
Well, then you lied to us, and you definitely
said
it.
I say I read
you
it?
did. You said you read some of it. You didn't read all of it. But because you were like, I'm just concerned about it getting boring.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of have the same thought when they bring up the whole thing, because other than like playing the game and yes, being able to get all these hidden missions that like no one's ever done, like the whole thing with the 7 beasts or the 9 uncommon beasts that he like unlocked the scenario with, that has cursed this character, and what he's like is pretty much the plot line of everything that they're leading up to fight it again. There's that thing in the server room, I think it's like episode 4 or 5, that pops up. We flash over to like the game server room and wherever the headquarters is, and there's a screen and like something's loading on it. It says like scenario something. It's loading, and I thought like more, because if I'm sure you've read some of those webtoon ones where it's the same thing. It's an MMO VR, people playing it, but the way the game is played has significant financial implications in like the real world, about like this is where most of the world's general economy goes into, because people are playing this game for like a living, and the in-game items can get them currency in real world, and then like oh, the developer had some secret
like Ready Player One.
Yeah, he had some secret mission set in there that like if it's not completed, the whole game's gonna be deleted or something, and like it's gonna wreak havoc. That's what I'm not sure is like taking place on there, because I thought like, oh, when we see that computer, something bigger than the game might be occurring, but
I don't think so.
Not to say, yeah, well, like I said, it wasn't that I was like, oh, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna be disappointed. It's just like you're hinting at that. I haven't read it. I know Webtoon does, like every Webtoon VR one is pretty much set up like this. So I was just like, that scene felt like, oh, is this the direction we're going in? And then we didn't see anything. We've seen nothing from the company.
Right.
And like everyone keeps talking about
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's just going to be really just gameplay.
Just a guy really enjoying the game. Which
and I'm okay with that, because the story for me is engaging. The animation was consistent all the way through with high quality stuff, and each episode that I watched always was entertaining.
Yeah,
I was never bored watching it.
I think another thing to add is like they really explain everything that's kind of happening in the VR game, like when he's talking about his buffs, his debuffs, what he's got to do, or like what the NPC has to do. And I feel like what was the other one called, the Protocol Rain, like versus that, like there was no explanation of anything, and it's like I feel like they really explained a lot on what's happening in the game, and that translates in the
it's good world building.
Yeah, and the animation stuff.
Very nice.
But yeah, Shangri-La.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything negative to say. I think it's a must watch.
Yeah, it's a must watch of 2023. If you're looking for something to watch in between, the week to week episode release of the 2024 winter season, go back, watch it. It should be continuing straight, because episode 13 wasn't like a completion, and it was just an intermission episode where they're just like, oh, let me introduce you to my family. And how everyone seems to be super hyper involved in their own hobbies, which was kind of funny. It's like, okay, so everybody in the family is obsessed with this.
The mini episodes at the end.
I love.
They were so funny.
The
those
theater,
shorts, the something theater,
whatever it's called, theater.
Yeah,
it was fun.
They're the fun, but yeah, it was good. It also too, because it was kind of hinting at when they introduce the players he's met in like some of those trash games. That one girl, who's on the like
player
killer,
player slayer,
guild,
whatever they call it.
She's definitely that famous celebrity that his sister likes.
Yeah,
so,
the model.
Exactly, which is kind of what Protocol Rain was trying to do with the famous acting friend that he used the game with, which not going to go back and bother to watch that to see how that unfolds.
Never.
But Shangri-La Frontier.
Yep, definitely wins the quarterfinal first matchup.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah. And then, well, you know what? Let's include in there, because it might differ from how we felt. A fourth one for the community, because this was the community favorite. Out of the two, the community liked this. Yeah. So a straight flush. I forgot to hit submit on that. But bam, going in. And let's take a zoom over now to
we'll knock this off, Chris.
This is gonna be quite a talk.
So
Chris, we've brought you here today for an intervention. Your anime choices are just,
No, I think we're just different, okay? I can appreciate Under Ninja.
I'll let you talk.
I can appreciate Under Ninja. I'll just give a very quick synopsis. Yeah. It's confusing. It's a confusing show. But the main point, there's two organizations, Under Ninja and NIN, which I forget what it stands for. But
there's three.
Sir?
There's three organizations. That was like the whole point of what was leading up into. Did you even watch this, bro?
Yeah, I did.
Did you even watch this? There's three.
Under Ninja, NIN, and what's the other one?
I don't remember the name, but there is a third one, because they talk about how the school was a place where all three groups were in turn locked in. This is my problem with the show. There's too many plot points and no answers.
My problem with Dead Mount Deathplay was too many plot points.
Well, we're not talking about that right now.
I know. Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't. Let me get back to this. From my understanding, there was two main organizations: UN, Under Ninja, and NIN, and they're at war. I'm pretty sure it's only two. Because
I'll pull up the episode and we literally where
we can go back and look,
right? They said
but the point is, there's these organizations are at war, and NIN is who we're like following.
Yeah,
Kuro is a NIN ninja, and he's tasked with going to school to stop Under Ninja from doing something,
which we spend only the first episode ever doing. So this is what I'm saying is, so yes, he's tasked with going to school and uncovering some plot by the UN, but they literally just jump from plot point to plot point. That's my problem with it, and tied in with the fact of them doing flashbacks, I didn't get what the point of it was. I didn't know what was going on, because I was like, it would have been fine if it was just following him infiltrating the school, but it went from that being what was supposed to be the main idea, to then being like, all right, episode 2, flashback, and then about the American, the German, and then
the foreigner,
and then
dick cutting foreigner.
Yes, and
then he was Russian.
Yeah, and then it was just like they just kept introducing it. The whole thing with the murderous TV show, which again made no sense to me.
Because so that is not supposed to be on normal television.
Yes, well then why is it showing up on our TV?
They explained it.
They explained that.
They explained certain TVs are able to get
that. I guess because it's an
broadcast.
older one or whatever. But they show it as like, I was supposed to be, are they all ninjas that are just like not doing anything with society? Because I thought it was just like they mentioned that there are people who like the scum of the earth, and like just like young kids who like are becoming delinquents and everything, who have like records, that they're bringing them there and just murdering them. But then that leads into the cat and the not UN guy who used to be a Nin guy who went to school, which we find out is pretty much he was there. Like him and the cat were there.
Yeah, they were.
No. So that's the thing. This is on the TV show, right? You only see the guy's eyes.
Yes.
At the end of
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about how the whole
cat and the guy.
Yeah, and the guy
he was there.
The guy
he got
who's
killed.
been going around like killing the guys. Yes.
And they took his brain.
That was another plot.
They took his brain and put it in a cat because they're testing that science.
I know, which then they later link up when the head of Nin is pretty much being
old people
is being put into babies' bodies to
be young again.
What's that scary movie? With
But again, another plot point which they either don't talk about further or doesn't get introduced until the last 5 minutes, like any more detail about it.
And I think that's okay. Because at the end, for me, it does make more sense.
But when you topple it with like all these things of two, like not, it wasn't even goofy. It was just like weird to watch. Like the whole thing with the girl eating her boogers, which then, all of a sudden now you like they didn't even try and hide. To me, it would have been cool, a better idea. Him and the group, which we don't even get to know more about the group. That group we're introduced to in the first episode, they don't really like. There's nobody for me to really know. I know nothing about nobody other than just little pieces. Like you're not slowly introduced to the characters more to like them enough to like say this is who I'm rooting for. This is who I'm like, because every episode is just a new plot point and a new group.
What I think is a disconnect from the author who made this, I forget his name, but from reading I Am a Hero, there's a lot of detail in it, and you get very connected with the characters.
So
and I
feel
a
180 on this.
Say again?
He pulled a 180 on this because I didn't think
No. I think the anime adaptation leaves out a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't read the original source
material.
For you
to read it to give me more to.
I'm going to.
Okay.
But I get it's confusing, and I get it's like not everyone's going to like it, but I enjoyed it enough to be invested in the story and try to figure it out. And I did like the main character, and I like the direction that they went with the like flashbacks and jumping back to the present. And it kind of does feel like you're going on a ride.
Mm-hmm. So I think what would have made it better for me is first episode and episode half of 10 and what was it, 12 episodes, 11 and 12. You gut the middle of it because that was just too much going on for it, and just make episode 1 just continue into it of like they've infiltrated the school, they're going out, everything's being revealed way too fast, way too quick, of just like nobody has any nuance of anything. He immediately goes up to the groundskeeper, and then nothing else happens until the very end of it. I didn't even know like the whole thing of like his original thing to go in there greatly makes a mistake because that girl is been trained as like a ninja that like was supposed to be the ditzy girl, which they didn't even do a good job of like saying of when they revealed. There was no like, oh shit, this is a crazy twist. Like none of that happened. It was just kind of like when she gets off the phone, it's like, oh, clearly she's a villain.
I think like a lot of it is intentional to be like that.
I feel like it was a great story that just got overshadowed
they explained it really quickly right before it happened.
But this is what I'm saying. I feel like all of it is intentional. It's supposed to be quick. It's supposed to be, oh, we're getting all this information, but still not really understanding it and putting the pieces together as the story goes on.
But other shows do that. Other like
but you know they're not all going to be the same.
But they do it in a way that it's enjoyable to watch. You're thinking about it. You have it in the back of your mind. But this one, it was just like I don't know what's important, and I don't know what's not, and I'm not being hooked enough.
And I just feel like it really then comes down to personal taste. For me, I really enjoyed watching it, and I want to watch more.
No.
And stylistically, I like how it's animated. Some people don't like that style, and that's okay.
I like the animation and I liked the end, but everything else I could do without.
And I like the boldness of how they ended it with that final fight between Kuro and the UN girl.
I will say this, and this is more of just the characters. Nobody's a good ninja in the series.
No, and that's what's funny about
ninja.
It.
Yeah.
Everyone's terrible at being a ninja. There are so many points that I'm just like, nobody had to die. So many interactions that I was just like, they easily could have not died. That whole last fight with the invisible UN guy who had been like killing everyone in the school, which halfway through everybody just went back to doing normal class stuff instead of all running out.
Yeah, because they made that announcement that it was false.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like that part at all. I thought that was the cringiest word.
What do you mean? What?
The guys going around just hacking kids.
Oh yeah,
in a school.
Well, that's why I was just like
anything else.
Also, him too. Like when I first saw him, I was like, he's saying, "Oh, he's on this. He was on that show," but then not. And then they're like, "Oh, but he was actually training to be a ninja in the school and everything." And it's just like, so was he a bad ninja? He wasn't even. There's nothing showed that he was a good ninja. Nothing showed that any of them were like good ninjas. But getting back to what I was trying to say is that fight that they have on the top in the school in general, when we get to that, the robot suit that he gets out and he captures him, and then they're just like, use the escape, which is the giant laser missile, laser system. He's in a robot that has so much mechanical strength that could have just squeezed him and killed him.
Yeah.
And there, it's done. It's over with. But no, he jumps down the stairs so they get to an area that they can fire the missile and kill him, it has to take time and life, which allows him to escape, which is like, you could have killed him, saved all the people, saved the girl, which you're was like in love with him or whatever. But then fights and dies, and in a way that was just like, oh, it was so infuriating to see. The deaths were the most infuriating thing, because it was like everything was preventable, everything. And I think that's, I guess, what more of my issue with the story was. Everything was preventable. Nothing, at least from what we saw, like would have prevented something else from happening. Everything could have easily been preventable. Not the people who died, half of them didn't have to die. That guy, like, how, especially too with when he finds the guy, which then who holds the puppet, and we find out that, oh, he's the grandson of like
the leader of Min.
Yeah, which it's like the girl that he was hooking up with didn't have to die. It was just like all these deaths that I was just like, I'm too frustrated in seeing this. Where Kingdom of Ruin just killed people and didn't give you enough time to know them. This one's, I was like, we spend so much time on all these people, it doesn't really go anywhere, and then they die with no real consequence.
It's like you don't even want to get emotionally like attached to any main characters or anything like that.
To them, I was like, I hope they die, but I hope they die in a cool way. But where it was like, oh shit, these were really cool, like things that were introduced in Kingdom of Ruin, and they're like, oh wait, they're dead, I don't get to know anymore. But it's just, and it's just and even too, the thing that was a stretch was when the last fight where he's like, all right, I'm invisible, she won't be able to land a deadly strike on me. But it's like, if she's been trained, if any of them have been trained the way they've been trained, and you can clearly see where somebody's lower torso is, their eyes, their hands, I'm pretty sure I could make a pretty deduced conclusion of like, where do I need to strike to kill them?
I also just think, like, yes, he's thinking those things, like, oh, part of my body's invisible, but I think like
he has nothing.
The character, like, that's his. It makes sense to him, you know, and that's his character. But to us, like, obviously, she can see him and can hit him.
No, I get
and
that.
I just think that's like,
I like the character, but it was just like, there wasn't enough plot that each of the characters did to make it be like, well, why am I watching them? Why do I like want to know more? Like they give you like little things about each character. The blonde girl is obsessed with older men. He's kind of an airhead, but you think he's going to be the like sleeper, super like badass guy.
I think he still is.
A version of him still is.
Yeah. Could
be
no, he's
big family.
He's dead. He is dead.
His whole head.
He is dead, but I also think there could.
They are clones
or brothers.
No, they're clones.
They have
are
to
you
be
sure?
They have to be clones.
The very last thing shows
another
his face, his exact face, and they all think the younger one is. They're like, wait, is that what it was named?
Yeah, it was right at, it was right at the end.
Sakura was like, oh, you must be his younger brother, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about that guy because they're clearly like, they all know they're clones. They don't really. And the whole plot line too, where they're like, which doesn't come into anything until the end, and you have to piece it together with like, there seems to be some big subterranean bunker underneath the house, and everybody seems to be under the impression that he's been here a long time, but not a long time. The third group was the delivery guy. He has a secret group.
He's with Nin.
No, he's not with Nin. He was
because they remember they had the meeting out in the marshes,
and they were like,
and they said crawl through this rainbow
because they know he's been doing stuff, and he's working for somebody else. But
he was with Nin.
He was undercover at Nin, but he's with another group,
and that's why they called him in because he pulled somebody from the
UN and Nin, and that's it.
It's 3 groups.
I think one's like the government that he works for. Is like the actual Japanese government, and then you have the 2 ninja groups on the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you can talk about it when you read it, and then
we'll
tell us how wrong we were. But I think I've said all I can say for Under Ninja.
I said all I can say too. Like it.
Not for me at all.
Yeah. Yes, it's not going to be for everyone, but I'm not going to say it's bad. Because I enjoyed it, and I think it does have potential to like make more sense with the second season.
Number 7.
It's not number 8 though. It has potential.
And we all agreed that number 8 was bad. But
also with Undead Unluck, like sure, it has really cool animation. It has
Undead Unluck has a phenomenal story. And I read it. I'm on the latest chapter.
Listen.
You don't even know where that shit's going.
I think it does evolve into something more. Okay. But what's presented in the first season, what we got, sure, there's good music.
What episode did you get up to?
6. I just want to say.
That wasn't even the whole season.
I just want to say, from what I have seen, is.
Chris, how can you say, well, everything pays off in the last episodes of it and it all makes sense of Under Ninja, and then say, well, I didn't even watch Undead Unluck.
I didn't even say Undead Unluck is bad. You didn't let me finich.
It's not about whether it's bad. It's about whether it's better than Under Ninja.
I think we already have our.
Personally, for me, I like Undead Unluck is. It looks good.
Well, what's your problem with Undead Unluck? That seems where you're going.
A lot of tone shifts in the story, right? So it's a drama, it's a comedy, it's action, and a lot of stuff is overshadowed by inappropriately timed jokes, and I don't like that.
I don't think it's overshadowed. I think it's done in a way, and if you had watched up to 10, you would have had an epiphany moment where you realize why the inappropriate jokes make sense, because Andy and what's her name, Fuko, have like there's a deeper story that goes in there, and you start to understand, okay, because of how she's lived and the whole terrible life she's had up until then, that actually makes sense. And I feel like you can't say anything.
Is that the scene with?
You didn't watch it because you didn't watch episode 10.
What's the setting of this scene you're talking about?
They're in Rio.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, because you didn't watch past episode 6.
My point is, like, Undead Unluck. I started to read it too, like years ago, and it didn't capture me. I read a good amount too. You're making me
so mad right now.
I read a good amount, and I'm not.
What other one didn't you read? The whole thing was that we were gonna watch the end, Chris.
I tried.
I fucking watched every episode of Under Ninja.
It's not that I didn't want to watch it. I just ran out of time.
You said you only had one more to watch.
When I texted last night, I said I need to finish Under Ninja, or not Under Ninja, Undead Unluck, and Return to Magic should be special.
And you said, "Oh, I'm gonna finish watching the one now, and I'm gonna finish watching the other one."
Yeah, and I fell asleep like watching Undead Unluck. I got up to 6, and this morning I'm like, I gotta start Return to Magic should be special. So I just ran out of time.
So I think it's safe to say
you finish
it's
Undead
3
Unluck?
versus 1. I watched all the dub, which goes up to 4. And I will say this. You can do that all you want. I will pick Undead Unluck over Under Ninja 100 times.
I'm not saying Undead Unluck is bad.
You don't know
it's
how
good.
mad the two of you are making me right now. This is at this point, this has nothing to do with Undead Unluck anymore. This has to do with that you're rushing to watch and then not even finishing them.
The English dub isn't out yet.
Doesn't matter.
I watched all the sub ones that are only in sub all the way through. And I watched Dead Mount Death Play, the entirety of it, which is double the amount that I should have. So
it's all dubbed, so that would have been an easy
that was
watch
completed.
for you.
Yeah, it was. Not for Chris. But bickering back and forth, I still think we know the answer to who is going to come out on top versus Under Ninja and Undead Unluck.
If Chris had watched episode 10, you would have seen the evolution of the story and the characters. You missed episode 6, I need to know exactly if is it after they finish taking care of Rot? When they're in the let's see, episode. No, you did. Oh my god. So, did you watch all of Spoil or did you just start Spoil?
I just started it. Listen, I can go back and finish it.
All of this right here is the story changes so much and it makes sense of all the tone shifts and everything. You're just literally watching them get to the organization, which is just the story being set up. There's just...
I also have issues with like this like negator thing.
What about it?
So during these fight scenes, right? Like it's set up how we have Andy who is fighting the robot guy, right? And he's figuring out what is his negation.
Yes.
And
their abilities.
Attacks.
Right.
Quirks,
and
whatever
so he needs to figure out a way on how to like maneuver against his negate. And instead of it being interesting for me, it's just punching back and forth and not really diving deep into it.
Because that's the whole thing that shows up. There's a whole arc about how everyone thinks they know what the negation is and about God, the world, everything. They explain
that in 4. They explain that in 4 really like a super detail.
And 4 has a phenomenal story plot that once you hit 10 will blow your mind. A phenomenal story plot.
I will go watch
when Fuko and her are painting.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
She's like, "What are those things that you added to the sky?"
Yeah, they didn't know what stars were.
And you get to 10 and it's just like, holy fuck.
I'll watch the rest of this series and I will let you know if my opinion changes.
Yeah. And you know what you're going to do? Once you watch it, you're going to make it a TikTok and you're going to post it with your response. Because this right here, this is going to be clipped. My rage with it. And then you're going to whatever collab, I don't know what it's fucking called. And you're going to put it on there.
A duet.
Duet. You're going to duet it.
I will do that.
Okay.
I will go back and watch it.
The reason why this also pisses me off is because then we can't really have a full discussion about some of the other ones and how Undead Unluck is going to stack up against what the semifinals.
We don't even know if it's going to get to the semifinals.
We don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we don't.
No, we can have a full conversation.
We can't.
Oh
man.
Not even fucking watching all of them.
I try.
All right, moving on to the next one.
Is it bottom left or?
It's top.
It's
because
top,
then
right?
it goes to 3.
Okay. I think we should try to.
They're gonna have a New York Comic-Con arc, Chris.
Are they?
The creator announced that they're literally doing an NYCC arc about this show.
That they're gonna be at NYCC.
Yes, it's gonna be a New York arc, and it's gonna take place in New York Comic-Con for the. You don't even know.
That doesn't make a show good though.
No, but it does because of how intricate everything is. Once you hit 10, you'll understand everything about the negators and everything about the Uma.
Like I said, I'll watch it. I'll do a duet.
I will await my apology video. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
Well, getting back now, after we selected the correct winner for the second bracket of the third round of the quarterfinals, let's jump into Migi and Dali, and the returners magic should be special. Let's zoom in here again.
Now, I will say, John and I both got to see the first, was it 3 episodes of Returner Magic Should Be
Yes.
Special?
Well, what I'd like to ask first is, did both of you finish these?
Yes.
Okay. Both of them?
I finished the English dub of Returner's Magic, which is up to 10 or 11. It's on our note. And Migi and Dali, I finished.
Migi
finished
and
all of
Dali. Finished all because it was just subbed. Or no, was it? No,
it was only
full.
subbed.
Was it only subbed? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then I watched the whole entire thing on sub.
Okay.
So I don't want to watch something in English dub and then switch.
Okay, and Chris?
I watched all of Migi and Dali. Returner's Magic, which is the one I started this morning, got up to episode 6. And I think this one, I can confidently say I do not need to watch the rest.
Okay, that's fine. I thought it was a fine anime. I don't have any special attachment to it, but
no, he was really attached to Undead Unluck. And I knew this going into it though. When we picked this, I knew that was on John's top list because when we watched that first episode, I was like, "This is wild. What is this even about?"
It's all you're gonna boil it down to is inappropriate jokes, which again, Under Ninja does and does terrible at it. Terrible.
But the inappropriate where I like have a distaste for Undead Unluck is like it's an older guy.
He's not older.
He's 26 or 25.
Yeah, and she's 18.
She's 19.
She said 18 in the show. Yes, she did.
In the manga, she's 19.
Well, in the anime, she's 18.
Well, he's also I don't. There's so many things you don't understand.
Well, I have to finish it.
Yeah.
All right. So back to our third round.
And wait,
we're going backwards.
How old is that guy who's feeling up in Under Ninja? His student.
I'm not saying Under
and
Ninja
then giving her a promotion.
The thing is,
moving on.
Let's just.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Rest.
So Migi and Dali and Returner's Magic should be special. I will say Migi, right?
I will say it's sleeper of the whole season right here.
It took a while to get there.
I don't think so. But
I was confused for the first half of it. Like, where is this going? What is happening? But once we started to get more clues on why the kids were doing what they were, at first they don't tell you anything on what's going on.
You don't know
what is happening.
But
it's just creepiness.
This made me audibly gasp a bunch of times. Like after episode 5, quite frankly, genuinely surprised me, and I really enjoyed it. Did you guys both watch the? Because the last episode 13
had an ending.
It does,
yeah.
And
after credit.
It does have an after credit.
I don't remember.
Like a good chunk of after credit.
Well, yeah, the whole episode becomes an after credit where they're grown up.
Yeah.
Did you not watch that?
No, then I didn't see the after credit.
Dali goes to college.
All right. Before we do anything, there's going to be a hard cut right here.
Who's that?
The creator.
Oh, he died?
So, yeah, this is why I wanted everyone to watch it.
So they did this special scene just for...
First off, it's a her.
I did this too.
Yeah. So she actually passed away this August.
Whoa.
Yeah. So really recent. So getting back to it, Sano, she passed away in August. This was her second series that came out. The other one she did was You Don't Know Me. I'll look it up in a second, but second series, both well received, both have the same tone and everything, but she passed away of it. They actually went in, they made that end credit thing to give like a conclusion because there wasn't going to be any more.
Now that makes sense. Okay.
And she had apparently in the works a third series that she was like started to work on.
Wow.
Which unfortunately, like she passed away from.
That's pretty sad.
I think it was cancer and everything, but I think this was like a phenomenal story, like a sleeper series, way better than anything that I thought was going to happen. I mean, we all thought it was going to be the cringiest like thing I think we watched.
It's just as the creepy movements of the twins got me.
I always enjoyed it.
Thing.
Yeah,
I always enjoyed it. It was creepy, but I thought that added to my enjoyment.
Yeah,
I didn't start actually liking the story until halfway through.
It was always funny, like from the get-go for me. It had nice animation, like it's nothing special.
Yeah,
but it was pretty clean and fluid all throughout. And I also like the mystery aspect of the show, so that's why I was always intrigued by it.
Yeah. It was really unique, and I'm trying to pull up her thing on here so I can find the last show because I forget the name of it, but I watched it too. It's on Crunchyroll. It's worth watching. You haven't heard? I'm Sakamoto, another like just funny, bizarre.
Is that the one where he's like in the windowsill at one point? He's always serious.
I wouldn't say he's serious. He's perfect. He's always
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've seen clips of the anime
you've
for
definitely
this one.
There's a lot of memed clips of it.
Yeah.
That's her first series she did. And I forget I was reading her wiki page, and I think she interned under another famous creator before, like which then like gave her the idea to like do the series and then go into Migi and Dali. But she was a phenomenal, like the series she worked on when she was like an assistant before was like a really big one. I forget which one it is. Can look it up and maybe splice it in later, but she had a great career and like was really big and going on clearly like with this to like come up with, I can only imagine was going to be another just banger of a series. And then her unfortunate passing, and then they made the
ending.
Yeah, the ending for it, but it was disappointing. But I mean, regardless, this was definitely my favorite out of these two. Going in it, and I think overall that series just like exceeded my expectations. Like I was saying before I told all this, it audibly made me surprised and gasp during it when we're getting towards the ending scenes and figuring out more about like the whole thing with the
plot.
The actual plot. What happened to their mom, the whole immaculate conception, and how crazy that lady was.
Yeah. She was that wild.
But that wasn't the whole thing with them being triplets, and there's so many twists and turns, and I don't even think what I've said has given anything away, and you should 100% go watch it.
I think we gave a lot away.
We've given away key points, but you wouldn't be able to piece it together. Yeah. I think there is so much really good stuff, but it's 100%. I said watch. I would say watch.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think cementing itself as like a classic. If somebody were to say like unique thriller comedy that like you're not going to be able to guess like
for sure
what comes up,
for sure,
we'll throw you through
100%. Yeah. And I think the community definitely really liked it too. But we'll lock that in. We'll say a couple things of Returner's Magic.
I don't have a lot to say about it. All I'm gonna say is it's your generic fantasy adventure.
It's
high school, not high school, but like school training and stuff.
There's slower, a lot slower.
It is slower. It's a lot slower because it takes a lot of time flushing out all the characters if you watch the end.
I just feel like they also did stuff because they're lazy. Like in one of the episodes, there was a scene where someone's walking up the stairs, and that was in the episode 5 times. Like,
I can't remember exactly.
I forget which one it was, but I remember watching this episode. I'm like, what the? I've seen this clip, like too many times in a single episode, and I feel like I haven't read the source material for this one.
I haven't read it all either, but where it ends, everything was done with the intention of setting it up, and I think it's a good idea, especially in the like dying and redoing everything.
It definitely has
the second chance, and I think that's where season 2's really going to shine of the series. But I think season 1 was solid. That's what it was. It was solid.
I don't think it was bad.
Yeah, I don't think it had me interested in because it ends with 2 where the magical night girl ends up joining their team at the very end, which is setting up. He meets one of the early people on his team from the end of his first life, which I was wondering when they were like going to introduce him, and it sets up just a lot. I think it is a very slow series. I will give you that. But I think everything's intentional. It's not going to blow anyone's mind right now, but I think if you want a solid series that you can watch from start to finish, definitely that. But it's nowhere as good as Migi and Dali.
Yeah.
This does just have. I mean, again, it's comparing 2 different genres, really.
Yeah.
But Returner's Magic, I think, had also very good, magical animation fights. I enjoyed them. So
I think that's where it did shine the most. It's in the fight sequences, but also at the same time, I did look up pictures of the original source material, and like some of the spells that they would do in the anime just look like PNG assets. And in the
I think that's what kind of hurts it. And it hurts a lot of series. Is just
to translate that.
Sure, but it's done.
I don't think. It's hard, but it's also too like just with the rise of like CGI animation and everything, and like being able to reuse assets and make it easier on the studios. Which I mean,
imagine hand drawing all that and doing.
Which some of those studios this year, not to name names, is
we've talked about them previously.
Have. Are probably in worse conditions.
Did you see that Mappa's doing with Studio Bones One Punch Man season 3?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know they announced it, but they hadn't announced the studio yet.
Did they have to
it's announced.
Did they have to win that, or did they?
I don't know, but I'm surprised they're doing it after everything that just happened with Attack on Titan.
They have everything with Attack on Titan, with Jujutsu Kaisen,
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah,
right?
their
whole workload.
Their whole workload is just like they're literally working themselves to death.
Yeah,
good luck.
But it's gonna be crazy, like this third One Punch Man season.
No,
I'm excited.
As long as they give animators enough time to actually do their work,
right?
Well, I mean, speaking of One Punch Man, hot take from me: I didn't like season 2's animation. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good. I forget who did it.
Season 1 I thought was really great, but I talked to a bunch of people and they were like, no, season 2 is great. And I was like, I don't think we watched the same thing, but
I think story-wise, yes, it's great. Animation did lack compared to season 1.
But yeah, Migi and Dali, I think that's all we really have to say about both of them.
Yeah.
Great. Go watch it. This, if anything, gets like for I think us in general an honorary like best show of maybe even the whole year. Top 5 of the whole year, I would say. Is this
there's some that I definitely would pick out from 2023 that had like an impact on us. Like, wow, we like really enjoyed that.
I would say, for me, this would be in my top 5 for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was fully entertained. I loved every second of watching of it. It was great.
There was one episode I just didn't. I liked it, but I was like, damn, I don't like this costume.
The Halloween episode?
Halloween,
and he goes like, and he sprays everything.
Not fun.
It was just so hilarious. And two, like the whole thing after like the very end, everything's said and done, and they're like that whole the emotional aspects of it too, with like the parents and they're like all sitting down waiting for Dali to come down, and introduce himself officially.
Yeah, it was just great.
And they were just like, we may not have known about it at the beginning, but we're pretty sharp for old people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when they with the beaver kid and their other friend.
Yeah.
They first showed it.
Every time
and they like slammed the trash can on his head.
Every time he went canatotic at the end and just like didn't move and froze up, it was just like,
that's so funny.
But yeah, all right. Getting to the last round of the quarterfinals. We'll
8 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once we get to the next ones, we've already talked about every show.
It'll be
so
quicker,
it's
so.
way quicker.
Yeah, it should be.
This
be
always
fairly
takes us longer to do.
Just
Our
get
last
through-
bracket was way bigger than this.
And we
This
didn't
one-
spend as much time on the first one as we did.
This
is actually, I think, the most interesting kind of pairing.
The matchup,
Yeah, because they're so close. Because I do feel like my rating for both of them are, one is definitely higher. I'll say I like Dead Mount Deathplay a little bit more. And that was just because, like I was saying at the beginning with Ron, Komo no Hashi's
Forbidden Deductions.
It was just a slow start, despite finding out the creator and then understanding why it had a slow start. It was still just like, I get it. Or I watched 8 episodes of these mysteries again without really getting any of the plot going.
Right.
Exactly. It's like
it's like sprinkled in, but they don't really tackle it during those episodes.
And then you get to the last episode, and then it's like, all right, this is actually I know we joked about it being a Sherlock Holmes,
and then it's dropped. And House of M.
Yep, it's a whole Sherlock Holmes House of M, and it's like, oh, that'll be cool.
It gets me excited for season 2.
And I read some of I did the thing I always do. I jumped to like the most recent chapter of the manga.
Spoilers.
And it gets really dark and really serious, which is what the creator did in the other series that I was talking about, Hitman Reborn. There's a point where literally somebody's being locked up and chained in the basement. The
Spoilers.
Watson character, which I forget what his name is.
What do they call him? Toto?
Toto. Something like that.
They nickname him Toto because he's like a little dog.
He's like locked up in the basement. I think it's him. He's locked up in the basement with like some girl, and he's been there for like a week or something.
Shoot.
And it's like he's like screaming at her to like let her go and everything. It gets a lot darker.
Jeez.
Which I'm like, which when you look at everything we've watched, and
it's nothing like that.
I think what also kind of I know we haven't really talked about them for any of them. The opening song I felt was one of the most boring.
I enjoyed it.
I thought for what
it was boring, but it's catchy.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite.
I'll say Undead Unluck had the best one out of all of these.
Like best opener,
opening and ending.
That, and then I would say Shangri-La Frontier. Was my second favorite opener. When it dropped on, I was like, okay, I can get behind that.
Which we all just started doing it the moment you did that. We're like, yeah.
I didn't really like Under Ninja's opening.
I didn't like the opening, but the ending.
Yes,
I
the
enjoyed.
ending credit,
and I felt like that really fit the tone of the show.
Yeah, you sent the picture of the.
Yeah. The ending song was good on that, but I felt it was too bland. It was, for knowing that it's gonna get darker, it was just like and it was kind of boring. But Dead Mount Deathplay had a really good opening too.
Yeah. I just lost my train of thought. Gosh, damn it!
So many thoughts, so many anime.
It was going to be something about Dead Mount Deathplay. We were just talking. All right, go on. I forgot something about music or something.
Well, I was still talking about Ron, Forbidden Deductions, and but yeah, when it's like revealed, okay, this actually is not just a Sherlock Holmes series. It is a Sherlock Holmes series. And I'm interested to see. I started reading it because I was like, I don't know when season 2 is going to come out. I don't know if they'll greenlit season 2. But I was definitely interested enough to start reading ahead because when they reveal that he has a bloodline from Moriarty and Holmes, and it's like, okay, let's see what this whole thing is. And I hope there's more revealed about the Holmes side of it, because apparently it's a whole criminal syndicate for Moriarty. And all these step siblings that he has. So I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. And I think I'll probably just stick to reading it.
I enjoyed watching it.
It was nicely animated.
For sure. Yeah. And even at the beginning when it was just kind of like the same thing over and over again, I am a huge fan of whodunit stuff.
Yeah.
So I was okay with that. It did get a little like boring at times because it's the same
I just
thing.
wanted more hints sprinkled earlier on.
If they would have given more hints of the plot, or
it
like
definitely came later.
Like something popping up with like
it was like the
more already being involved with
last
something
3
else,
episodes,
you know,
that just like took a while. That it was like,
but I'll say each episode is fun.
Yeah,
to, like,
it is.
Sit through.
It's fun. The whole game show episode I really liked with the when we're introduced to the girl who had the doctor who had been in the ending credit scene, which the ending
sings it.
Yeah, the ending song of this I liked a lot more than the opener when she's like singing in the snow and everything. I thought that to me that fit the story a lot more. That one I really liked.
Chris is gonna drop his album.
Yeah,
he's gonna do a cover of each one karaoke style.
Well, if we get 1,000 views on
karaoke
YouTube of the next, we'll karaoke all the songs. And,
perfect Japanese.
Yeah,
we couldn't even say the title correctly.
Yes,
he said Ron Komonohashi.
Yes, Komonohashi.
Komonohashi.
Yeah, see, I got it.
Yeah, very good show. I think it is also a must watch.
Yeah. But yeah, synopsis of it. It's a Sherlock Holmes mystery one where you later find out that he's from the lineage of Holmes and from the lineage of his biggest nemesis. Yeah.
Little twist though is that when he solves and finds the culprit of a heinous crime like a murder, most of the time
there's some mystical aspect.
There's some type of like psychic power or something where he like tells them to like kill themselves commands them to do it, and they start to do it. But with this Watson character, Toto being able to just jump in and stop it makes them they're gonna be a good pair. And what I did like also was the other detective that came in, the guy with the tweezers, guy,
Eagle Eye,
Eagle Eye they call him. I thought that was just kind of good because it kind of gives him like an actual adversary. It's just like a lower level that you can kind of
it was definitely interesting,
especially when they're in the store and they're like,
it's interesting enough. I do want to see where it goes, and like I said, I'm going to be reading it. But I don't know if it's going to get a second season. I don't know if the interest is up there just because it is a little slow. But it's good. It has a place to go. The creator, if you want to go see a great series of it,
Hitman Reborn.
Yep, which I really think you two should watch. Just skip the first 20 episodes because they're very repetitive. But yeah, Dead Mount Death Play. Anyone want to give a quick synopsis of this?
Oh, you're hinting to me. I thought you were going to say something. I was like, you hated this one. So this intrigued me from the beginning because it starts off with a character, I guess it's a mystical realm or world of necromancers, and there's kind of like a holy, like, I don't know, type of church people that are trying to just eradicate our main character. And the show starts off, of course, with an epic battle that we think is
Chris, thank you again for the Red Bull.
Not sponsored. But.
Yeah, not sponsored, but just love a good Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, just cut me off.
I'm sorry. I took that sip and I was
just completely threw me off. I was like, so hard.
That really hit right there.
All right, to jump back into it, our main character, the necromancer, is fighting and being hunted, fighting this holy soldier knight, whatever, and ends up waking up in a teenager's body, of course, out in actual Japan.
Recently been murdered.
Who had been recently murdered, throat cut, and that's kind of how the story starts off. And I want John to take it over from here.
But yeah, so he's reborn to a new world, which, yes, it is 5:44 p.m.
for everyone to know.
But that's not when he wakes up. It's more mid early morning. But yes, he's been recently murdered. He's introduced to this girl, which he doesn't realize is his killer. Jumping ahead, he kills her, brings her back with his necromancy, and then a whole otherworldly plot of criminal world starts to unravel that slowly is revealed to have ties back to his world and other unexplained things of, well, maybe magic is existing on this side with things that aren't supposed to be and people's names that shouldn't be mentioned here. And it definitely a good mystery going and arising.
The other thing to mention too is that the whole point of our main character wanting to reincarnate and use his spell to kind of just live a peaceful life.
Yep.
And that's really what he was going for. And as he's trying to have a peaceful life, he has to choose between protecting his new friends that he is really caring for, or like exposing and slightly making it harder for himself to have a peaceful life, because now he has to intervene with using his necromancy and, getting further in on it.
Exactly. He's doing it for the children.
Always for the children, which he did in one of the first couple episodes.
I thought the first episode was really cool. Then the second episode was not as cool. Third episode, I started to get lost. And I feel like what really didn't work for me was the introduction of a lot of characters with backstories that weren't really put together well. And plot points that I felt didn't really lead anywhere and was kind of just lost.
Like what?
I can't even tell you. I just I was watching it in sub and I was so uninterested that I put on the English dub so I can just actually hear it.
Wow, he never
and it
does
still
that.
didn't engage me. I was watching it, but I kind of zoned out. It just didn't work for me.
I think they did a good job at trying to introduce characters, because they're not introducing them to the point of the kid's body that he inhabited. I forget his name, but
Polka.
But as Polka's family, and he has to now learn about them. And the only character I think that kind of threw me off was the pen, which was the old captain who died in that building was possessing it. Because then it came out of nowhere that, now it can speak, or now it can do this.
I had that same thought. I was like, wait, why is he talking?
Why didn't
he
say this originally?
And then, which there is a very big tone shift once you get past episode 12, because that was originally part 2, which then just they aired it all at once, which that would have been, because it has a different opening scene, it has a different, and they definitely
second half is so much better.
It has a tone shift. It has a lot more action. It has a lot more concise storyline, because now we're getting to the organization that has the deep roots of why is he seeing things from his other world pop up more and more.
So I guess because they did release it all at once, some of the things that didn't make sense probably will make sense later on.
And you can just binge straight through it. But the one thing that I had that I was kind of iffy about was when the cousin comes and stays with them, just felt very boring to me.
Oh, the shark?
Yeah.
The shark loving cousin. I was just
I just didn't understand that. But really, I think they brought the shark loving cousin because really the bodyguard.
Yes, he has a more significant part.
Yeah.
He's more interesting. The whole thing when you find out about his family and the reason why he has those animatronic arms and legs, and then the whole group, which is showing a bigger reveal to the magic in this world, and the people he used to consider family apparently maybe doing evil things on this side. She definitely shows a light and is pretty crazy, but she just felt very out of place in it. And then when she has she has that conversation with the assassin girl, it's wait, what's going on here?
It was just really weird.
Where they start liking each other.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
and
what?
Polka's in there. Real Polka's in there.
Yeah.
That part I really didn't get or understand why. I think that was them trying to just fill it, or just trying to build other character relationships in a weirder way.
Because it was weird because
they both like sharks.
Yeah, it was weird because I do like the whole idea that they're of her dark past of how her family was killed, and that led her down the line of all this, and she might have a bigger tie to everything in the end, and
just a pawn right now.
Yeah, and kind of where she's growing, but her redemption of wanting to get killed, but everybody telling her we're not gonna let you off the hook, you have to deal with what you did, and kind of getting a redemption arc is really cool. But it was just weird because it's just she doesn't really know what to do, and it was just
I think she's developing though that this is her family. She's never had this type of aspect before. And Polka, of course, as we get further into the series, I know I watched it. I don't think you watched.
I watched up to 20.
You watch them, so then you see that more transformations happen.
Yeah, she slowly becomes a vampling.
Yeah, like a vampire, but like only half vampire apparently, or something like that. But Polka has to make these changes for her to live, basically. But we also get introduced to a lot of like other OP characters.
Yeah,
I would say, especially when they're fighting in that
warehouse.
Like
the whole thing with the magician guy and how his
solitaire.
Solitaire, and his whole quest is to find real magic.
Yeah,
that was really cool. But
he's been around it the whole time. No idea.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's before the flip when he goes to the merchant, which I forget what his name is.
Yeah, the guy.
And
he's
like, he's like, what information do you have that's going to say? He's like, yeah, I have information. I can tell you exactly.
Yeah,
like what you want to know. And he's like, how much? He's like,
something insane.
Yeah, it's like $30 trillion. And he's like, what? And he's like,
oh, don't.
That's absurd. And he's like,
this is a deal actually for you.
Yeah. He's like, this will 100% answer all your questions and everything. He's like, it would be worthless to anybody else. I would sell it for 50 cents.
But because of you,
because this is what you're looking for. It's like, it's a great like interaction between.
That's a good explanation, because that's literally what he says.
Yeah,
like that's exactly what he says.
And then he's like, the fact that he's just like, well, he's like, can you tell me if I go here, will that do that? And he's like, I can do it for like 20 million. And he answers that yes or no question. He's like, that's all I need. And then he goes, and then that's where the whole story goes from there.
I do say again, the other characters that are introduced that are like OP.
Yeah.
What's the bandage guy's name who's like super strong?
Oh yeah, I don't. The one that doesn't. He talks, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
talk
it's like Polka's Polka's cousin's like bodyguard, or he like pays this guy.
Oh,
it starts with an L.
He's part of the.
It starts with an L or
task
something.
force that they are. Yeah, yeah. That it's
Lemons.
That's it.
Lemmings. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah, but yeah, the lemmings, and the pyro bug, the bug
of everybody. Yeah,
yeah.
That's when you start seeing all like the real heavy hitters that are gonna.
I just want to say, we did not spend 5 to 10 minutes.
We didn't. We didn't. Well, I think this is going to be an hour and a half total episode, but there was a lot of
recording 4 hours.
I don't know exactly where we started, stopped, but yeah. But we'll jump in. We'll jump to the semifinals.
I'm giving my point to Ron.
To Ron?
Yeah.
I'll be mine to Death Mount.
Damn. Well,
it's very close. I like both of them.
If we include the community score, that'll give it to Death. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, Ron. I wasn't bad. It was too slow of a start for me, despite my love for the creator. With that other series, but you try harder.
My bracket would look so different.
Yeah, it would just be Under Ninja on every single one.
No.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a bracket. You would just be like, this one right here.
These semifinal matches are. I think we're gonna go through quick.
So I guess we'll start with
right side.
Yeah, let's go right side because we were just on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we would go with one again and then
it don't matter at this point. I feel like we should just go right.
No. Okay. All right. So Migi and Dali and Undead Unluck.
So honorary mention for Migi and Dali, 100%. But I think going forward,
I think Undead Unluck, because I know where this story's going. I think season 1, part 1 of it ends because it's a full 24 episodes. Is going to be the first season, but part 1 that's currently out up to episode 13. If you watch it fully, Chris, makes so much sense. It's a really good story, and is building to something pretty cool. For me, that gets my point of it. As much it's Undead Unluck.
Listen,
I agree.
I will say I am torn. Like Undead Unluck, like I said, it's not bad. It has potential. Migi and Dali it's completed.
Yeah,
really great story. Good animation. So, because one, I didn't even finish Undead Unluck. Mm-hmm. I know it can lead into something more than my current perception of it. Oh man, I'll give
2 and 3.
I'll give it to Undead Unluck because like Migi and Dali, it is really good.
Yeah.
But also for my personal tastes, I side a little bit more with Undead Unluck between the two.
Yeah.
So,
it's pretty straightforward. It's just Migi and Dali. I just think it's a great series. It's good where it's like it doesn't need to go up against anything else. You just watch it. That's it. Regardless,
you should watch this on the side.
I think it's just like our fan favorite for like this season of like, regardless of it being the best or anything, it's just a really good series that doesn't need to be compared to anything. Just original, good. Watch.
Not long either to watch.
No, not at all.
But much like the community, Undead Unluck has a grander story that it's building towards. It's not a mini series. It's going to be something big. But yeah. But let's go. We've got our first finalist, Undead Unluck.
This one's definitely easier for me, and I'm going to tell you that I liked both of these a lot. I didn't think I was going to like Shangri-La. That was your choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was going to like it.
My vote goes to Shangri-La.
I will
easily.
I will agree with that.
Really?
I like. Look, I like both.
I was hoping for a good debate
after watching.
We already had our good debate.
After watching both, I enjoy both of these. Yes, I like them. Which one would I say? Hey, which I like better, or not even by a lot, but what I enjoyed more? The Shangri-La.
Because I'll be honest, I think I like Dead Mount Deathplay a little bit more. I did.
That's shocking.
Yeah, it's good, but I think it had
a refreshing story.
Because I don't know where Shangri-La Frontier is going. Like I don't know, other than it being like a mission that's unique that they have to complete. I don't know where the story is, like if it's gonna get any grander than itself or anything like that. I kind of know where Death Mount Deathplay is like heading, and there's like some cool twists and turns. So I'll have to say I think I liked it more, and I'll throw my coin to them for this round. But it's like a 99 and 100. Like it's like they're so close, and
it's not close for me.
For me, it's very close.
I think Shangri-La Frontier has a way better, more vibrant, I would say, animation.
Budget.
I think it has
a
bigger production.
Yeah,
I'll just say
like the fight scenes in it are really good, but the fight scenes in part 2 of Death Mount Deathplay get a little nicer.
The hands on the rooftop though, that's kind of like,
yeah, well, that's why I said in part 2. Yeah, but I like the story a little more in Death Mount Deathplay, or maybe it's just the fan service. I don't know.
There's no way to tell the difference.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's all plot.
Yeah, it's all plot. It's all plot. That's why we watch anime.
But you are outnumbered, my friend.
Yes. I figured. I'd have to just give it in there. I do really like Shangri-La Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now.
Well, who would have thought
finals
the first and second seed are in the final?
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It very well could have been Migi and Dali, but I think that's just too unique. It could
have been Under Ninja.
No,
just kidding. No, that's a shot in the dark, but
it is. But I think I know which one I like more.
This is going to come down to personal preference again. These are very close ones.
We've talked so much about both these. I feel like we didn't talk too much about Shangri-La Frontier.
Well, we said there's nothing that we would say bad about it.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk a little bit more about the plot. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. Just like, I guess like any things that were like really good that like we saw on Shangri-La Frontier, like something that was like really
world building.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that even when they go into the first unique door into the rabbit area, like
that
whole other world.
That whole
I would have never expected a unique scenario, another one that's like super special on the side.
The whole rabbit kingdom, I really did enjoy that. Mm-hmm. It was really good NPC character, and when it gets when they catch it on the message board and they post it, and everybody's like hunting them down to be like,
the talking rabbit.
Did you get one of the? I forget what the rabbits are called.
Purple bunnies.
Yeah,
purple souls.
How did you tame that?
Yeah.
And
I didn't even know you could do that. And then like they're like, you can't take photos of people online without them knowing. And then it gets deleted, but it's been too late. And everything.
Because then all the clans found out. Yeah. Oh, what is this? Who is this? And it's hard for him to hide. He's got scars. He can't put any armor on, so you have to get the hat that's like a ghost.
They make him into they put a sheet over him.
It still doesn't help though.
Yeah. But no, that was funny. Yeah, it had a lot of good moments. It slowed down for me towards the end of just like theme with the plot point.
It did,
but
slow
it's because
down,
it's going to be straight
building
20,
into
24
more.
episodes.
But also, I think they're trying to build onto like the master attacker, like their IRL encounter.
Yeah,
you know, and them like, oh, a friend request,
and that's what another thing I think they do well: the mix of the in-game play and
the
reality.
But I wish, I know she made progress, but I wish that his classmate would just like reveal already,
right?
And, like
that's, I guess, one thing I do
she
find
tried
annoying.
to.
She tried to, but I think
got a phone call.
I don't think it would. I don't think it would ruin anything.
No.
I'm just like, it's at the point where like just say who you are, and then I think you will be able to like have a more quicker like interaction.
And also at the same time, though, while that is a bit tedious to like watch and sit through, it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
but like, I think if the real reveal doesn't happen soon, I think it's going to be turned from fun into tedious. Like,
well, I think they're waiting for a specific battle or something to happen.
Sure, but I think we're past that point where it's going to like drag, because she already told him, I play this game too. She just didn't realize or reveal who she is.
I just don't want it to be a running gag and like a trope in a series where like they never reveal. It's like, how could you not figure out that?
Yeah, exactly.
This was this.
Guys go to the same game store together.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna say right now, I think Undead Unluck was a better series.
No one saw that coming
for the season.
Didn't see that coming, huh? I'm gonna pick Shangri-La.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you know,
and so is the community.
What the community says on top of that, John.
You know, I think if you had watched up until the end,
I don't know, because even with what I did watch, there was still things that I could say I didn't like about Undead Unluck. Not saying it's bad. I just didn't like it. Shangri-La Frontier, nothing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think Shangri-La Frontier just doesn't have a big enough story. It's gonna win. I'll put it in here. You know,
right.
Our winner for the fall 2020-2023
you gave
season.
It one more.
Yeah, that's fine. Keep it at 4. It's fine.
That's
the math is bothering Chris.
Shangri-La Frontier, just like what the community put it in there, even though I think it's number 7 in the overall for the season.
Oh, this is just for new.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if we're talking about new, one that we didn't watch, which I apologize for, which I saw a bunch on like the weekly top, was the Apothecary Diaries. That's a new series. Apparently that was supposed to be really good. It seems like a very big drama. It is, I believe it's an isekai, but it's a very big drama. And I think it's probably going to be adapted into some live action. And I'm pretty sure that's where most of it went to. But I think I will wait for my apology. That's all I'm going to say. I will wait for my apology duet from the two of you.
Thought it was just me.
I didn't disagree with you. What are you
I'm talking about, well, Chris is going to apologize for Under Ninja versus Undead Unluck. And because of
that's because
the
you had
sexualization.
Number 7 versus a 2 seed, and that was your argument.
The two of you are going to what is it? You're going to recount your votes. You're going to overturn the election.
Right. Oh, he's saying we rigged the election. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Oh, us and all the community?
You and the community rigged it, and you're going to then
Okay. All right.
fix your terrible deed and crown it. But
we'll see.
Well, here,
they're both very
good.
Please watch at least the top 3 that we
watch all of these shows, except for Dead Mount Deathplay and Return of the Magic should be special. In my opinion, Chris's
watch
opinion.
all of them except Dead Ninja.
Unless that's like your thing. Like some of these anime, like I want to watch.
Don't watch any of them and go watch the My Goofy Boss, 100 Girlfriends Who really like me. Yeah. Enjoy it. It's all great.
But it's
sorry, real quick.
All right.
Going back to Return of the Magic should be special. For some reason, I just kept thinking of Tokyo Revengers. Because like the plot is kind of similar. Not really.
It's a second chance at life, yes.
Yeah, and going back in time and stuff.
Yeah.
Very random, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Honestly, Tokyo Revengers I don't really like.
I don't like it that much either.
It's way overhyped, and it's it's a protagonist that he's just too pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm
not a fan of it.
The surrounding characters are good, but he's just, I don't care. Like, it's overhyped. It's over. Yeah.
What I wanted to say is
1 second.
Yeah, right.
And that's all.
Yeah, right. One thing I do want to say is like being able to talk with you two on the podcast and being able to go through shows that I myself would never want to watch.
Yeah.
I have uncovered, wow, this is really good. And you get to find these little gems. Yes, do we come from 80% of things that we don't like? Yes, that does happen.
But we watched it.
But we watch it. You know, we find what we like, and we find things that we thought we didn't or wouldn't like, and we enjoyed it. And I feel like enjoyed it. Did I say that word? Enjoyed it. So I would challenge that, you know, our listeners talk to their friends and you know, make some recommendations back and forth and see, hey, I normally wouldn't watch something like this.
Drop it in the comment. What was your favorite of fall 2023 and even just 2023 for the year? You know, upcoming is Crunchyroll's Anime Awards coming up, and
already,
yeah,
I know.
Like,
it's gonna be
crazy.
I think the voting's going on right now. Go pick what you want. I haven't looked at it to see what the nominees are, but
last year I was mad Spy Family.
I know that was, but we'll see what I have a feeling that they're going to kind of like how Baldur's Gate sweeped the Game Awards. I feel like Attack on Titan is going to sweep so many things, or Jujutsu Kaisen's going to sweep so many things. Those two I feel like are going to, and it's like, yeah, I get it. They're like, good.
You are my special.
But yeah, you know, this is where we land, and with that too, you know, watching things that I never would have thought, but you know, also being able to apologize, you know, when people are wrong about things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is about.
I'm waiting for my apology for Under Ninja, because Under Ninja is an anime watcher's anime. Okay,
an anime watcher's anime.
Yeah. You know, for people who are new to anime and like trashing Under Ninja
and want to know exactly what they're watching, watch it. But yeah, that was the fall 2023 lineup.
If you made it this far, congratulations.
If this is good. Well, our last bracket was a really long episode.
Yeah, we did over 2 hours last time.
This is hitting
2 hours of just straight recording. Though.
Yeah. And we never even used the footage for that. I made a whole thing because it was just, but I think this is good. We're learning, we're evolving, we're getting more viewers. Let us know. I want more comments. I want more
people to tell me that I wasn't breastfed. Just kidding. Someone please put that comment right here so I don't seem crazy.
That'll if we ever get to merch and we hit like enough subscribers to actually need to do that,
we'll make a shirt.
That'll be the shirt. But yeah. I really feel like, because that stairs are so loud, I feel like I thought Ryan was about to run up, but
yeah, no.
I thought it was Cat, and then I just feel like they're breakdancing in Europe.
But before we end it, I guess let's take a quick look, because in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be watching, because everything's dropping right now for the winter 2024 new year, new season, again with only new things, because you already know things that you've watched. Going into it, we're going to be, I think this season might be the most action-packed of the year, where we had a bunch of isekais. I think we're going to get a lot of really good action series. We've got the
solo
leveling, which has been in talks for the longest time and has been hyped up so much, which, my personal spoiler, I think this might bomb, but that's a conversation for another episode. But we've got I started watching Delicious in Dungeon. Pretty good. And that's all I'll say. That's going to be on Netflix. And in the beating a dead horse of streaming services ruining anime now, it is also going to be on a weekly release.
Wow.
It's not going to be dropped all at once. It is going to be 24 episodes.
Zom 100.
Yeah, it's going to be 24 episodes. Hopefully it doesn't go on a hiatus.
24 episodes?
24 episodes. But we'll watch up to 13 unless they all come out by the end of... unless they don't all come out by the end of like when everything else wraps.
For spring.
Yeah. And then
Mashal season 2.
Yeah. Psyche to P-chan. I'm guessing that's a new one. Gushing over magical girls.
Oh, please no.
7th time loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life. I feel like we've watched that
like
before.
an isekai.
These titles, man.
One we're not watching, but one that's
Blue Exorcist.
surprisingly coming back. Blue Exorcist for a 3rd season.
That's crazy.
And I still haven't even finished the manga of it, which I'm annoyed with where that's going. The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. I feel like I've read this one a little bit, so this is a new one we're going to be watching. I heard a lot of rumblings about this and people's excitement. Bottom tier character. I guess this is the 2nd season. We won't be watching that. Chain Soldier. Oh, this one. This one, a lot of people have been talking about. I've read 50% of it, and I think it'll be definitely a crowd pleaser one. Fluffy Paradise. Never heard about that, but we're gonna watch it.
Looks like a children's show.
Banished from the Heroes Party. I Decide to Live. This, I thought this was almost season 2 of that one we watched early last year, where all the party members got exiled from their parties and they came together to make their own. I forget what it was called.
It was like the D&D one where they came back into the tavern or whatever.
Yeah. And that's where they all met each other. But I thought that was season 2 of this, but it's another one. I feel like it's going to be a similar. This one right here, Ishura. I've been seeing clips about it. Seems like it's going to be a very intense, gory action series.
Mm-hmm.
It might be overhyped from some of it, but I'm interested in it.
Sounds like a Chris show, definitely.
Yes, it is a Chris one. The guy right there in the middle, I'm pretty sure he has a sword. So I mean, that's checklist written. We're gonna make a shirt.
Listen, I'm evolving.
Swords, action,
ninjas, pirates,
and it's gonna be.
I'm evolving. Yes. I am finding an appreciation for a slice of life, and I don't want to say.
Well, then you're gonna love Tales of the Wedding Rings.
No, I'll I'm not saying I'm liking all of them.
I'm no, joking aside. This one right here is another sleeper one. I talked about this one before. It was supposed to be out last year. It got delayed. But I think this is going to be a pretty good action. It's kind of Lord of the Rings fantasy style, where it's like a bunch centered around like elves and everything on the other side. It's gonna be good. Mr. Villain's Day Off. Never heard of it, but we're gonna watch it.
Looks like ass.
The Strongest Tanks Labyrinth Raid.
Sounds like ass.
Don't know, but we're gonna watch it.
I'm so sick and tired of these fantasy long name animes.
My instant death ability is so overpowered. I've read this.
Oh my goodness!
But we're gonna watch it.
Please, we gotta cap it at some point.
We can't do the community injustice, Chris. The Demon Prince House of Mochi House. Don't know, but we're gonna watch it. The Way of Pawn. The Way of Pawn. No idea what's going on.
We're not watching it,
but we're gonna watch it.
I'm sick and tired of being made fun of by my family for watching stuff like this.
Well, maybe don't watch it in front of your family. Maybe don't tell them. Can you shut up so I can? This literally looks like it's stealing the poster for My Goofy Balls.
Yeah, a little bit.
But it's called Cherry Magic. 30 years of virginity can make you into a wizard. And you know what? We're gonna watch it.
I'm gonna quit the podcast.
Villainous level 99. I might be a hidden boss, but I'm not a demon lord. Gonna watch it. What is this?
How long is this page?
Bucci Girl.
Bro, you see the little tab on the right?
Oh my goodness.
It's like 97.
This is like continuing on, so Vanguard.
This way, if we have 30 plus episodes to watch,
this one right here, I'm calling it.
It's a month.
It's gonna be Chris's favorite. Hokkaido gals are super adorable. Gonna watch it.
It's Hokkaido.
Hokkaido gal are super adorable. See, you already know. He already knows. I'm mispronouncing it, but his favorite is going to be Chris's favorite. Dr. Elise, the Royal Lady with the Lamp. name is terrible. Terrible translation. But we're going to watch it. Delusional Monthly Magazine. Not sure, but we're going to watch it.
We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it.
I feel like we could just put a link
yeah.
on our thing.
Oh, yeah. It'll be.
We're going to watch all of these.
We're just reading them off.
I started watching High Card. Side note. Original. It's a Crunchyroll original series. Pretty good. But we're not going to watch it. 'Tis Time for Torture, Princess. Gonna watch it.
All right.
Season 5, not gonna watch it. This one looks pretty interesting. The Witch and the Beast. I feel like Chris is like,
this looks like one of those werewolf alpha things that steals a lady and they fall in love.
Well, we'll have to find out when we
if there's love in it, then it's not
watch it.
thing. What if the vampire has
No.
I don't know what this is. I feel like it looks like another one, but we're gonna watch it. And I'll just scroll past the rest of these so I don't have to keep reading them all.
This is literally like 100 anime.
Well, some of these are repeating, and like we're not gonna watch. Well, we could watch Shaman King. Did you guys ever watch the original? Because this is not a second season. This is a new. Nope, the redo was on Netflix, which was awful. This is a new series on with his child from the guy from the original series.
Didn't watch it.
Okay, maybe we won't watch it. We'll see. But yeah, look, we weren't that far off, and these bottom ones are all continuations. Snack, Basu. I don't know.
Basu. Snack Bus.
Snack Bus. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. But yeah. Thanks for sticking through.
Oh, gosh, I'm not looking forward to the next.
This was a nice, conclusion. Let's try and watch through everything so we can make informed, educated.
We're gonna have to quit our jobs to do
educated, responses. Look, if I can edit this and watch them.
Mine was educated. I had an educated response for Undead Unluck. It's just I just didn't finish it. It was educated on what I did watch.
So you just read the cliff notes and then jumped to.
And that is where we're going. We're not going back into
exactly.
it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging on to our rants.
Thank you,
tell your friends. Share it. You'll see us at some cons. We'll see it. I'm gonna drop that Lexi Nito one maybe in between. Naito between this one and the other episode, so you might get a 2-for-1 this week. If not, I didn't say that. But yeah, any last things? Any last comments, guys?
Thanks for sticking around. Let us know if you agree with our rankings. Comment on what anime you really enjoyed this year. Let us know. Maybe we'll watch it and talk about it.
Yeah.
That's it for me. So, thank you.
Undead Unluck was better. Goodbye.